Hey, what's up, EJR? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Alpha Type Podcast. I'm Git. EJR, welcome, dude. How's your day going?
It's going. It's going. It's been super busy lately, and I barely have time to pee once a day. I've been shopping for adult diapers. I guess that's
Hey,
a good
man.
thing. Market's up. We're looking
Price of
good.
success, my dude.
Yeah.
Big
So I'm.
pool's looking good, rocking and rolling, all kinds of stuff happening.
Yeah. That's a. I don't even want to talk about it right now. Anyway,
Fair
so
enough.
I'm super excited because we literally have Function with us today. Basically, the James Dean King of the Trenches archetype, non-extractive, the next Ansem, but not a POS. No offense. I think this space is like Star
No offense.
Wars, and the longer you're in it, you're either holding a green lightsaber or you're holding a red one, chasing celebrities for coins, being extractive, and in no way is Function doing that. Super excited to have him, and love to learn more about what he's got to say today.
Yeah, rock on. I'm going to pull him in right now. But yeah, I love the concept of somebody operating in the trenches and doing so in a way that's still helpful and non extractive. Welcome to the Alpha Type Podcast.
Yo, what's
Kit, did
going
he hear
on?
how I opened?
I did.
Yeah,
I
oh, yeah,
heard
you
it.
heard
It
All
him,
was
right,
right?
good.
incredible.
I just
It
wanted
was
to make
incredible.
sure. Let's fucking
I'm,
go.
I'm mad grateful for the intro, and I think like everybody's trying to learn how to navigate the space, and we've all been doing it for a certain amount of time, and we all have the different ways we do it. So I don't really. I guess I'll start off by saying I do my best to just play the game without impacting it. Has been what my approach has been, like on a social standpoint, which has been like a really unique approach to take. It's a different approach than I've ever taken for a bull run in crypto and stuff. I've usually been the guy that's jamming and yelling and screaming about NFTs or something. And yeah, I think there's value. And I just wanted to open it with this. I think there's value in the people that are screaming the coins, and I think there's value in the traders that are silent, and I think there's value in the shrimp and the whales. There's no real definitive right or wrong in this industry, and it's really interesting, and we're all just like figuring out how to navigate it. But thank you for the introduction. I don't know why I'm rambling on that.
No, it's all good.
It's
I think
like the
it's a good place to start.
Matrix when they talk about
Yeah.
variety and contrast, and I get that. But it's just I appreciate the fact that like you literally put out a guide and say read my guide before following my plays and talking shit. If you lose money,
Yeah.
which probably no one read your guide and they still do the same shit.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. I think everybody has a different trading style. And I spent the first 4 to 5 months of the bull market just like trying to figure out what coins are going to run and what coins are not going to run, and trying to find that at a level of like $10,000 market cap, 20,000, 50,000, like the real trenches, the places where like you're trying to throw one sole bid in and catch 100x because it runs to a couple mil, and learning also how to be like strategic around it. And some people are way better at playing the buy a coin and hold it for a couple months, and I'm personally terrible at that, if I'm being honest. I sit there like I'll just watch coins all day, and if I'm like intending to hold something for a long period of time, I'll just be like, dude, this is madness. There's other shit going on. I want to play the game. It's a lot harder for me to do that, but I've just chosen the route to learn how to like really play the game in a like unique way where you don't need a lot of capital. It is very high risk. It does take like a lot of attention and like a lot of energy and focus if you're really getting in the zone and doing it for 10, 12, 14 more plus hours a day. But I think it's also one of the coolest like places to be in the crypto world right now. Like a lot of people call it gambling and it's a casino, and a lot of that is true, but a lot of it is also that's what a lot of people come to crypto for, is like the outrageous potential and the outrageous opportunity to turn $100 into 100 grand or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
100
memes
bucks
to
into 10
dreams.
grand. And I think the trenches have formulated a ecosystem that like brings that potential out, but also like plays like at a really high risk level, man. Like you can make it all or you can lose it all. And that's what's fun to me.
And like I've learned a lot from following you. I like how you are constantly calling your exits, your entries, how you're feeling about something. You're just very verbal, which is actually is a lot of work because you're helping people. And I don't think people really understand how much more work that is for you than you just doing your thing and focusing. You'd be a lot more efficient. Like I am literally a very good trader, but I am terrible at taking profits. So I will be up 50
Totally. And
grand
it's,
and round trip.
man,
I'll be in a coin that I know I need to be watching, and someone wants to take a picture of me and my wife, and 10 grand I lose during a picture.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Dude, I get it. That's been something that's been unique for me to navigate recently, because The reality is Vector wasn't around when I started doing this. It's March already, it's April already, like almost May. Like I started doing this full, like just diving into it, not this last December, but the December before that. So like almost a year and a half now. And only for the last 5 months have I really been on Vector trying to do it publicly or learning, I would say not trying, but learning how to do it publicly because it's a different dynamic, man. If I'm just like on my Photon wallet on my computer, I'm not tweeting a coin, I'm not putting it in telegrams, I'm not like shilling it, I'm not influencing it all, which is how I started this. I realized last bull run, like if you guys knew me back last bull run, we had a fuck ton of fun with NFTs and I'd be tweeting new NFTs every day and they'd be minting out and we'd be trading them and flipping them and getting rare ones. And the Solana ecosystem was wild, but what I realized was like, I gained a lot of attention quickly and a lot of influence quickly and part of me had a lack of awareness around how to navigate that. Right. And so what ended up happening was I would buy a bunch of NFTs. I'd buy like 50 of an NFT. I'd fucking tweet about it a bunch. It'd go up a bunch really quickly. And I just never sell because I'd be like, okay, I can't sell into a tweet. That's a dick move. And so don't get me wrong, I did well. We hit D-Gods, we hit fucking Mutant Apes and Bored Apes, things that I could tweet all day. And like whether or not they influenced them in 3 or 4 months, the reality is like there was more influence happening than just me. And I wasn't like moving price. And in my opinion, I'm rambling a bit, but in my opinion, I think it's a dick move when you like buy a coin or whatever, you shill the fuck out of it. And then you're selling into the people that you're like shilling to. And so when I started the game, I was like, cool, how do I play this game and I have a big Twitter account, but if I choose not to use it to influence prices, right? And if we're honest, like if you're tweeting about coins, you're doing it to influence a price. Like that's just like why you're doing it. And that's okay. It's not a problem, but I just chose a different path this bull. Like I probably tweeted about 5 or 10 coins this whole bull run. And they were like longer term plays. Some of them I just went straight to fucking zero too. But long story short, what I'm getting at is like, when I started this, I was like, how do I do this without any influence or without putting any attention on the coin from my creation? How do I let the attention and the volume and the holders get created naturally? How do I watch to see how that natural creation unfolds so that I can pick the right coins to get into early, right? Because if you're a trader and you don't have a following and you buy a coin at 10K and you're at 100K and you're up 10X, you can clip 50% of it and like, maybe it dumps it to 75K and maybe it rebounds, maybe it doesn't, but like anonymously, you're fine. You made money and like you played the PvP game and you won. When you do it in a public standpoint, it's just a little bit different. And I'll be honest, like I've just been learning how to navigate it with Vector. It's really fun. It's fun to gamble low cap shitters with people. I actually have learned to enjoy sharing my process with people, which is really fun. And yeah, the reason I made the whole guide and I actually have a whole course coming out and shit is because like the reality is like when I first got on Vector, nobody followed me. And so I could just like fucking show whatever the fuck I wanted. Nobody was really aping my calls. Like nobody cared. Then I hit that $175 to $250,000 LLM trade out of fucking nowhere, left field. God blessed me, sleeping overnight and waking up to $250,000. And now I got 27,000 followers. And yeah, I guess I'm rambling on your statement, but I thought it was really interesting because like it's a completely different field to navigate like trading if you have like public attention on you and you have a certain level of responsibility in that public attention, in my opinion.
We always have a call before we have someone on the show. Don't worry about rambling. We knew that this would be a little bit different format. We just want you to be you because we really think you're that interesting. And that's what this show is about. Like we don't have sponsors. We don't chill shit. We just get down to the people in the space that are doing cool shit, that are unique, that are not hurting the process, that are helping other people in ways and genuinely care about this ecosystem. And I didn't know you were around for NFTs. I actually could have hit you with whitelist for these parabolic fucking Japanese bunnies the other day. I was chasing people like the best wallets in the space for 24 hours straight. They put me on last minute and it was a 0.5 mint. It's at 0.45 now. And it's just, they're not stopping. And they're ridiculous, but there's NFTs are doing well again now. And I don't want to go too much off topic, but I think abstract is a big part of that because it's put this kind of this silo where meme coins came out and people started trading NFTs like meme coins. And it was very destructive. And I think abstract now with the point system and stuff, it's like you want to hold it in there. You want to do more things. It's harder to move around. And now NFTs are coming back in a way. Like I've been crushing it up with NFTs lately, basically. Just buying them and being able to flip them and actually even hold them for a little while with final posts and stuff like that. So it's good to know because I'll definitely hit you with the whitelist because I'm king of the whitelist. But in terms of things that I've learned from you, one thing that's very interesting that no one else has ever really shared is like you always keep a separate couple of wallets, like with a supply of these moonbags. And then you look back a week later and holy fuck, there's like a couple $100,000 in there. Do you want to share anything about that?
Yeah, that was a strategy that I've publicly implemented when I started Vector because, like, I'd done it a couple times in private, but I'll be honest, if you don't have any accountability with a moonbag, it's like really hard, at least for me. I mean, if there's no public accountability or like some form of like group friend accountability, really challenging to watch your bag that you maybe put one soul in turn into 50 or 100 soul and just not sell any or like only sell small parts. So yeah, I publicly implemented that on Vector. I have another side wallet, like Fxn underscore moonbag that's public. And like, whenever I find a coin that I think has potential, I'll just like, throw half a soul or a soul in from that wallet as well and just forget it exists. And most of them go to zero, but like great example the other day, like I found Paperclip and I literally 8K, 9K market cap. And I just woken up, I had dust in my main wallet, so I bought a little bit. And then I remembered, oh, cool, I could just throw a soul in my side wallet. This is a funny narrative. The narrative was like, this paperclip will make you a house or flip this paperclip into a house or something. And I was like, fifth house coin, super funny. Bought a soul on the side wallet at 8 or 9K market cap, went back to bed, woke up, it was fucking ripping. And so scenarios like that are like just helpful because now I always have a little side wallet. And so I sold a little bit on day one when it ripped over the couple, like to $1 million or $2 million. And then because like I have targets, I have specific, oh, cool, 100X, you take out this amount, you take out this amount at this X, right? And now I always have a side bag. So if it goes nuclear, if it dies, but I found it to be pretty effective on a base level. I think I put 25 soul on that wallet to start. I've taken out 50 and have 15 remaining. So it's been decent to play around with as a strategy. And like, that's what I've just realized this game is all about. I think you can either go into the trenches and just shoot darts at things like without really knowing, which is what I think most people are honestly doing. I think they're just honestly sitting on meme scope. They have no fucking filters on. They have no like clear understanding of why coins move, how they move, like anything like that. And they'll just watch a coin go, oh, dude, 10K, 15K. Oh, buy 20K, buy 20K. Oh, no, it's 13K. So, oh, it's bouncing 15K, buy. And they just end up in a spiral of gambling that I found myself in before too. Like, I'm not saying I'm better than it. I'm just saying that I've observed it and I'm working on not falling into that spiral. And the way to not fall into that spiral is to have like targets and to have goals and to understand like a base level of strategy. Okay, cool. You found a coin and like you like the narrative and you're bullish on it and you got it on pump.fun at 25K. It hits 100K. Are you selling any? You know what I mean? It hits 200K. Are you selling any? Or are you just like sitting there buying things and like hoping they go up and hoping you sell at a certain point and you're unsure? And so that was like my thought about the whole guide and shit is, bro, I spent fucking 12, 15 months thinking about this and like living in my head, like creating this world of like how this shit moves and understanding it and seeing it from my unique angle. And when I got on Vector, I was like, bro, people are just like trying to follow me without any context of the strategy that I've spending 12, 13 months building. This isn't going to work because if you don't understand that I'm taking shots at 10 coins and maybe on the 8th or the 9th one hits, or maybe not, then you're going to end up rinsed by the 7th coin and the 8th's going to hit and you're just going to be like, damn, I missed it, you know? And so long
Fuck
story short,
Function's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I think about
man.
the game. Like, it's partly to be like, honestly, to have a little defense, to be like, hey, if you didn't read the guide and you don't understand how the strategy works, why the fuck are you following me and putting thousands of dollars behind my like gambles? That's part of it because I'll be the first person to say I have a fucking terrible win hit rate. If you calculate my wins versus losses, fucking probably 20%, 25%. But 25% that I'm hitting are making up for all of those losses and 5X, 10X, 20X, depending upon the day, week, etc. And sometimes it doesn't. I'll be honest. Like some weeks I'm down $5,000, $10,000. and it sucks. But then a couple weeks later, I'll hit 100 grand play and it'll make up for everything and more. And so that's just a strategy that I've developed because I understand how volatile this shit is and how, yeah, you can just get wrapped up in the gambling spiral if you let yourself. And so I try to display that as best as I can to people because I think a lot of people will end up at the end of this bull run. We already saw it. You saw the last 6 weeks of what everybody thought was a bear market or starting to be a bear market. Like you see how people change when price goes down. Like
Oh yeah.
happy
Quickly,
when price
too.
goes up, and every influencer that's talking about a coin that went up is the best person ever. And as soon as that person does something wrong, they're the devil. And then as soon as price goes
Criminals.
down, anyone that made money is the devil. Didn't
Yeah,
make
absolutely.
money. So I've learned to navigate it. I'm just trying to give people the best tools possible to navigate it too, because without that, like, people just be complaining and crying. And I'm sure I'll still get complaining and crying. Like I'm sure at the end of the bull run, people be like, you made money on Vector and we followed your trades. I lost money. Like I'm sure I'm
Yep.
gonna have
It's
some people that, but you got to do the best you can. And if people have given you their attention and like you have that role, in my opinion, like you got to use it with some sort of responsibility. And so that's what I'm trying to do with the guides and all this shit is give people the tools they need.
Yeah, right on. I think if you're approaching it in that way where you're taking responsibility and recognizing that people are following you, like you're already way better off than I'd say most people who are trading in public, because a lot of people just don't think that way and putting out the guide and everything else. Another thing I'd say is if you don't have a handful of people calling you a piece of shit, you're probably not doing enough in the first place. It doesn't matter what you do.
Facts.
There's got to be somebody that doesn't like it or that's complaining or that feels put off by it. Otherwise, you probably ain't touching enough people. So I think that's a good barometer of success in the first place. So tell us more about the guide. First, like, where is it available? And then just walk us through who exactly is it for and what does it help them do?
It's a fully free guide. You could put your email or you don't have to either. You could just download it for free. It's at function.group/guide, FXNCTION function. Man, it's just like a 45-page guide of all of my thoughts on how this shit works in terms of like how much, like, a lot of people think about the game in terms of like here's a great example. A lot of people think about the game in terms of dollars and shit. And they're like, cool, I bought 2 million tokens for fucking $400. Oh, it's $600. $200 is good. Or they'll sell. And I've structured my thought process in a different way. I'm like, cool, if this is a casino, then, and I think it's obviously a more unique casino because like it's way more dynamic. But if it's a casino, then one soul is one poker chip. I don't give a fuck how much the soul price is. I'm like, that's what it is. We're playing with poker chips. One soul is one poker chip. And the whole game to me is how do you find coins early enough where you can buy spend one poker chip or maybe 2 poker chips or maybe 4 poker chips to collect 1% of the supply or 2%. I don't think about it in terms of tokens. I don't think about it in terms of dollars. I'm thinking about it in terms of poker chips and supply, because if you think about it in those terms and you start to look at the overall broad market, man, I was looking at MemeScope before this, and one of the coins that I fucking threw in one of my TG groups at 70K just hit 3 mil. This
Nice.
little holder thing. And if you think about it in terms of supply, okay, at 70K, with sold at $150, I can't do the exact math off my head, but I imagine it's probably about 5-ish sold to get 1%, right? Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But if I threw 5 sold in at 70K and I got 1%, and you think about what's 1% of a $3 million market cap coin, that's 30K. Okay, then that's when I value it at dollars in any sort of sense. That's when I think about it in terms of dollars, because I spent 5 poker chips. If one poker chip is $150, I spent $750 if I'm doing the math right on 1% of the supply. And if 1% of the supply when it reaches 1 mil is $10,000 and 2 mil is $20,000, then the math becomes very easy and you can start to see, all right, it's a down week. Most coins are hitting 100K, 200K. There's maybe 1 or 2 or 3 throughout the week that have really broken over a mil and held. Then you can start to see, okay, cool, maybe my 1%, like maybe my goal for buying 1% isn't selling it at a mil now, or 2 mil. Maybe it's 100K or 200K and securing profits and rotating. Or if the market's super hot, like maybe you're buying 1% of coins at these low market caps and you're going and taking a fucking nap for a few hours and 4 and 5 of them are fucking dead. And the 6th one is at 3 mil. You got 30 grand and you're just selling. But you don't know. And so The way I've always viewed the game, that's what's in the book, is like how, and it's not how to think about it, because I don't think there's anybody who knows how to play this game. I think there's like a lot, if I'm honest, I think there's a lot of people that like use their influence to move the coins, and that's okay, but that's
Sure.
that doesn't make them great traders. So it doesn't make, and it also doesn't make them like good at the game. And I think there's a lot of people that like are good at the game, but they don't live by a certain rule set. And so what I'm saying is like the game's so dynamic that I'm just giving one perspective that I've created over the last 13, 14 months on how it works for me that has done pretty well for me. And I've also heard of other people that are like literally flipping 5K market cap coins and selling everything at 15K. And I heard about a guy the other day that made $1.2 million doing that over, I think, 6 months or 8 months.
Wild.
And so I don't have the right answer. Like 5K to 15K and flips is like a little too autistic and for me, but this is this is the strategy I developed, and like it's been fun to develop, and it's honestly still being developed and still growing. And so that's
is
what the
there a
guide-
chapter called Pullout Game and a chapter called You Hesitate, You Masturbate? Or
those would have been great titles. I should hire you for the next ebook.
I am a marketing whiz. I'm always available to you. I want to talk about, there was a period where it was dead. And honestly, like coins weren't even hitting 50K, 100K. It was like a period of weeks. And now we're seeing
That was like
Troll,
couple
House Coin, Titcoin, like this explosion. Some of these coins, like how do you spot these VC coins? Because shit happened. The cabal, like he's underground, some of Bin Laden, and they're not to be found. But something's going on because coins don't usually move that way. What do you feel about those coins? Thoughts?
I feel a lot about those coins. And I guess what I mean is that usually just shows like a good sign of life in the market. Like as soon as I start to see, like there were a couple runners during the bear period. Don't get me wrong. Like, the routine coin went crazy, and then a couple fake easy coins went crazy. But for the most part, like things were pretty bearish, and now you're starting to see stuff on a daily basis break through a mil. I'm looking at a couple coins right now. I got meme scope up 1 mil, 180K 15 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago, 300K, 3 minutes ago, 1 million, 1 hour ago, 3 million. So now you're starting to see some like volume return, right, to the ecosystem, and with it price action. And that's overall like really bullish for me. Like that's what I'm like seeing. And that usually happens when we see things like Troll happen and other things. I think Troll's probably the most highly attentive one right now, and I'm not shilling any coins because I don't even know any of these things. I don't play with $20-50 million market cap coins. I'm only in the trenches, really. But Nobody Sausage came out last week, I think, and was the official artist and blasted to 20 million. And that just shows me, okay, cool. Like stuff's coming out that's interesting and unique. A couple of AI projects I saw come out that blew up. How do you spot those early is a great question. I'll be honest, like the planes that are specifically about memes, I'm decent at writing from pump.fun to maybe a few 100K, maybe a mil. I'm not very good at telling you like this is going to be the next one to run to 20 mil or 50 mil. I'm just not. I'm good at picking good coins early, but I have no idea how high they're going to fucking go, specifically with memes. But I will say like where I shined the most this bull run so far, and where I probably will continue to shine as it comes back, is like AI. AI shit was probably the French's on easy mode, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is like there were 20 million, like 10 million, 20 million, some $50 million daily runners that would be launching on pump.fun, and you could
like on a
catch it
Sunday
20,
there
30,
before,
50K, or right off of pump.fun
100K
at
on a
100,
Sunday.
120, 200K. And we wrote Akasha, like all these things that like were so wild because exactly. And they'd all,
Yeah, that was nuts.
and so I spent months like learning and watching and seeing them because I bought Godius Maximus at 150, 200K the day it came out, and sold at like a mil or 2 mil. Dude, shit ran to 500 mil, you know?
Yeah.
And then I started to realize, oh, okay, so AI, like for some sort of reason, the mind share around AI has the potential to go way higher. Right. And so what I mean by that is like during the bull period, like you find a good dog cat coin when it was hot, you could guess it was probably going to go to 500K, a mil, maybe a couple mil, 2 mil, but it'd probably peak pretty hard and be hard to return to some like steady levels. Like you could find a fake AI coin that just was LARP and the dev had 15% of the supply and you could buy it at 50K or 100K and that shit would run to fucking 5, 10, 20 mil in 6 hours. And so I think when you ask me how do you pick those, I don't know really how to pick the dogs and the cats. I'll be the first person to tell you I'm shitty at choosing which dog and cat is going to run. I'm like, oh, this is the runner, and it's the other one that's right after it. Coming to AI, like you can see there are patterns that these devs use with these AI projects and with like serious, and what I mean by serious is like projects that people actually want to put like energy and attention to longer than a day. Like some of these projects will do the same patterns when it's on pump.fun, man. They'll rug the dev wallet only to buy back in at 9K and shake everyone out, or at 6K, shake everyone out. Like they'll run the cabal plays where they're fucking sniping the whole supply and sending it straight to radium, then dumping it all, then bringing it back. Like the way those devs used to try to shake out people was so unique to me and so fun. And I hope that comes back because it was really what the trenches are to me. And what I mean by that is it's like when people talk about, oh, it's warfare in the trenches, what they mean is, in my opinion, what they mean is like it's player versus player. But then when you add the actual dynamic of a dev in there, you almost got to think it's not player versus player anymore. It's player versus dev. And at least for a certain period of time
It's like
before
the
the coin
blackjack
has
table.
gained some stability and some recognition, or at least has been recognized that it's not complete fucking bullshit LARP, you are playing against the dev, bro. Like you are trying to figure out like what is the dev doing, bro?
Yeah.
Like is he trying to like get me out? Is he trying to keep me in? I remember SSE, the Solana social experiment. It was the coin by the, or Solana Social Explorer, I think it was called. It was the coin by the company that Solana Foundation owns. Like it came out, bro, and I was watching it on pump.fun and I bought it at 20K, 25K, and I sent it on Vector to my group. And bro, the coin ended up at 30, 50 million that night. But it sat on pump.fun at 25K and ranged down to 20, down to 15, back to 20, 25, 30, 15, like hours, 2 hours straight. I was just looking at it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this shit is. Is this GigaLARP or is this fucking like a runner? So you got to think like when you're playing on like a level where there's a dev involved and like, even if the dev sold, sometimes like the quote unquote dev is like a group of people that are still going to run the fucking coin and push it. Like you got to think they don't want you buying 2% of the supply at fucking 10K or 15K. That's the last thing they want. They want to have all the supply at that level. And so you're playing a game against them until it gets to a certain point, and then you're playing a game against everybody.
That's
And so
fascinating. I
that's
never
like
even
the
would
way
have
that
thought
I
of
like,
that.
yeah, that's the way I started to think about, especially with the AI shit, man. Like it was so evident to me because I'd literally watch, like I'd buy a coin at 25K. I'd watch the dev just literally eat it back to 5K. And multiple times in a row, I'd just sell 5K and be like, oh, it was fake, I'm out. And then an hour later, it's at 5 mil because the dev bought back at 5K and fucking ran it. Like, you don't know what they're doing in those scenarios. And to me, man, you can hear it in my voice. That's the shit that excites me.
So they're trying to get you out just as an individual trader, but are they also trying to shake out like sniper bots and things like that, I imagine, right?
100%. They're trying to shake out
Yeah,
snipers. They're trying to
because
shake you out. They don't want anyone else having supply besides them, especially if it's a real fucking project that like is connected to a Solana or connected to anything that's like legit.
that makes
You
so
know,
much
like
sense.
they want the supply control for them and their boys.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
obviously.
Yeah, my dumb ass. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why on earth would a dev ever want to shake someone out of their own coin? And because I don't play this game like you do, I just never thought of it that way. That makes total sense, though. And I can see
Totally.
what you're saying about that, adding the extra level of gamesmanship to it for you and making it more interesting. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Have you ever had
Exactly. I mean,
success function like where you
I know.
spotted that?
Oh yeah,
Oh, go ahead, man.
100%, bro. This is this is a question that I was actually going to answer before you even said it.
All right,
Like,
perfect.
dude, I can't even remember the exact name of the project, but there was an AI project that like kept tweeting, "Hey, we're coming." And so every day, every few hours, I'd search on Memescope for it or whatever, and notice that like tons of fakes are coming out. And then I realized, oh, wait a second, this is a pretty legit project. What if they're trying to really shake me out? And what do I mean by that? What if they're not launching a new token? What if their token was launched months ago and they've been slowly, silently accumulating it, and they're going to fucking revive it? And I've actually watched like 3 or 4 like AI projects do that, where it's a dead coin, it's 15K, it's a 3-month-old coin. And because it doesn't matter what coin, like in reality, like devs could be making coins all fucking day. And as long as like the person that buys it has the supply control of it and can direct it like through Dex Screener back to their socials and shit, like technically they could run any coin. It really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that, I started to see it doesn't really happen much anymore from my observations. Sometimes it does, mostly when like PvP happens. So like a new coin will come out that, like I saw a fucking animal come out that was on ABC the other day and it ran to 500K. But the animal had been alive for months, so there was already the same animal from 3 months ago, and they tried to PvP the old one. So that's usually when it happens now. When it was AI projects season, bro, like devs would be choosing week-old projects, 3-week-old coins, and just buy back from the dev wallet real quick, have all their homies fucking use their bundler to bundle like 20% of the supply, send it to all their homies to get in before bonding, boom, bonds, then it's 10 mil. And I just realized, if I'm being honest, like my account was pretty fucking big during NFTs. I was fucking connected to everybody. And through the bear market, I just quote unquote fell off. I just didn't really give it the attention that would be needed to keep it up, and didn't really desire to, and I'm okay with it. And it left me at the beginning of the bull market saying, watching all these fucking coins go crazy, and to be honest, watching a lot of people that I've been connected with in the NFT era running them or having big bags and pushing them and never hitting me up about them or anything. And I just realized, okay, cool. Like I got to learn to get in the bundles. I got to learn how do these bundles work? How are they shaking people out? How are they getting people in? Why are they running it? When are they choosing to cut it? Are they like, how much supply am I like appropriately allowed to own in a wallet before it's like actually too much? And if it's too much in one wallet, like they're going to like completely cut the project. And there's plenty of projects where I bought 1 or 2% of an AI project because I'm like, oh, this might be it. And they rug. And then 5 minutes later, the real one comes out. And I don't know this to be a fact, but part of me is, yeah, like I got in too early and they looked at the wallets and they said, I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. We don't have enough control. Run it again.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And so that's what I learned early, because I was like, cool, if I'm watching all these guys like bundle shit and run it to like Popcat to billions and all this stuff, and like I don't really understand how like they're doing it, then I got to learn how they're doing it. And if I can learn how they're doing it on a like macro level, then maybe I can learn how they're doing it on a micro level. And if I can learn how they're doing it on a micro level, maybe 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 times, or a couple out like 4 out of 10 times, hopefully on a good week, I can get into the right bundle and I can ride it to a crazy ride. And when the market's hot, the crazy ride is fucking 50K to 5 mil, 50K to 10 mil.
Yeah.
So it's like a very dynamic game, and that's the way I think about it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I can see how you get sucked into that too, that game mentality of it. And like the reason why I do this show is because I want to learn stuff. And that right there was worth the price of admission. Thank you for sharing it, because I just never would have thought of that on my own and not taken in on that. So huge takeaway for me right there. I want to pivot a little bit.
We're playing like a game of dollars. We're playing like the reality is like no coin that hit 100 million and stayed significantly above it or went higher doesn't have a group of people all agreeing that they're not selling, and that group of people owns 70% or more. Like maybe 60 or 50, but like in reality, in like until there's a lot more liquidity, like you're not taking coins higher than 100 million. You're not taking coins into hundreds of millions and potentially billions without a group of people who have supply control. And that's okay. Like it's actually part of the game. And I think people demonize it and they say, oh, that's the cabal. And yeah, some cabals are shittier than others. Some cabals will bundle the fuck out of it and dump it 200K. But the real smart ones, and this is what I learned early too, this is actually a unique tip. Like the real smart guys, like the guys that CTO these like Popcats and these whiffs and shit, they're not looking to sell on you while it's still tied to a liquidity pool. what they're doing is they're creating so much supply control and like attempting to create enough volume that a centralized exchange will pick them up. And then they have enough supply to sell into order books. Think about it. Order books are very different than a liquidity pool. If you sell in $1 million into a liquidity pool that has $2 million in it, you are cutting the price by 50%.
Yep.
I think that math's right. But long story short, like you can sell $1 million on an order book and people can slowly buy into that order and it doesn't have slippage. Like there's fees, but there isn't the slippage involved with liquidity pools. So the real smart guys, that's the way they're thinking. They're trying to take their meme coins that they own 70 to 80% of the supply of. They're not thinking about dumping on you. They don't give a fuck about dumping on you. Like they give a fuck about dumping when it hits Coinbase or when it hits Binance. And like the Asian whales are coming in and buying 100K, 200K, and this shit's happening. Like that's the name of the big boy game. And then it happens all the way down on the micro level. You see I call them LARPfluencers. Like you see there's like little mini cabals that like choose a coin of the day or every 2 days. And they're like, this is the one, guys. And they can maybe get it to 500,000 or 1 million. And then you look at the coin 2 days later, like it's at fucking 10K. Like,
they're the ones
I saw one guy, he was like, I saw this one guy last week. He was like, is this the next moonbag? And it was some animal coin. It's definitely the next moonbag, bro.
Yeah, probably.
I saved it specifically to look at it 3 days later, and the coin was 16K market cap. And so that's who you're playing against. And until you really understand the whole fucking playing ground, you're going to have a really hard time because you're just like throwing shit around. And that was, I won't lie, like the first 6 months I started with 3K and I ran it up to 80. And then I rinsed that all the way back to 2K. Then I took that 2K, I wrote it up to 180K, actually caught mother early. That was lucky. Nice. And then fucking took that whole 180K for the next 3 months after that and rinsed it. And I rinsed it in order to learn all of the things that I'm sharing right now, which is why I might not have the best hit rate, but you do see me on the timeline or on Vector, like hitting retarded trades sometimes. And that's because like of the dynamics of this game that I've learned. And I like won't claim to be like perfect because nobody's perfect. I won't even claim to be great, but I'm good enough at it where I can throw darts and hit.
Yeah, I think good enough's like that's the target, right? Because, and I think you touched on this there where you said people complain about, oh, this is the cabal, but it has to be or it can't exist. So like you have to understand first what game you're playing. And then there's a difference between like how are those people who are controlling the supply, what do they do with it, right? Are they pumping and dumping on you, or are they trying to build up and get this thing to launch on its X and have some staying power so that they can go out that way? Like at the end of the day, if you're buying meme coins, you're playing this game, and you don't really get to complain too much, in my opinion, if you get cooked because it's literally the game. And anyway, I think you broke it down really well. And just heads up to you too, EJR's having some tech trouble getting back in here, so I don't know if he's going to be able to rejoin. But I think that was a great breakdown of it.
I want to add one thing onto that because you just like what you said inspired something new.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think about meme coin communities as the same thing as an NFT community. Because dude, you actually could have an NFT community as long as the supply was low enough and you had the right people in. It didn't matter who created it. Like it could just go up based upon like the people who are talking about it who even have 100 or 500 or 1,000 followers. And then like you could create communities from nothing because there was low supply and there was and you could create high demand from that. You can't do that with coins. And that's what people are missing, man. I'm watching people DM me all day. I'm CTOing this, I'm running this, help me CTO this. I'm like, no, because it doesn't work the same. You don't have no one has a loyalty to any coin for a longer than like a month, like besides like maybe Mitch and like a couple like people who are just diamond handers. There is no loyalty to communities in meme coins. And as long as you understand that, you can play the game. But if you get too tied into a community and it's the wrong one, you'll end up at the end of the bull market with your fucking dick in your hand. And
I think the blending of those two
but if
things,
it's the right one, maybe it's the right one. Maybe you got Fartcoin at 100K and you've been riding it and it's a billion and I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, it's such a unique,
Yeah, it happens, right? There's
like,
your Farcoins and your Pepes, and those do happen, but yeah, those are pretty few and far between, right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're talking about the difference between people treating the meme coins like NFTs. If EJR was on here, he would talk about how that then leaked back in the other direction, and that people are starting to try to trade NFTs like they were trading their meme coins and blowing up those communities too. So you do have these two very distinct things. A lot of the same people trying to play both games and then fucking them both up. And I think that's like what the NFTs struggled through over the past months. I think things are starting to look a little better there now, but for a while, that seemed to be what was going on. Everybody was PvP trading NFTs as if they were the meme coins. Unfortunately, he's not here because I know he'd like to talk about that part.
That's
But no,
always
those are
happened
good
to a
points.
degree, but I definitely agree with you. And I think like the unique part about it is like the NFT world, when you PvP, like when you trade NFTs against each other, it actually, in my opinion, creates like a more sustainable project, right? And what I mean by that is if I'm trading it a lot and there's a bunch of volume going on, then people are looking at it, and some of those people trading it are going to hold, you know,
Yep.
maybe
Yep.
one, maybe they bought 5 and they traded 4 of them, but they're going to hold one. But with coins, it's not really like that. I'm not sitting there saying I'm going to hold one coin to be a part of this community. Like,
Yeah,
but I
fair.
mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
like, I'm not sitting there saying I'm going to hold one coin just in case this coin goes to $1 trillion
yeah.
market.
Yep.
I'm in a coin and the community and the narrative is there, or maybe it's there for an hour, maybe it's there for 6 hours, maybe it's there for a couple days or a week. Maybe it's there for a couple months, but I'm out of the coin like before the narrative's fucking on to something new. Like, it's a casino. I'm not holding one coin to be a part of the community. I don't care. But when NFTs are around, I'd buy 5 Bored Apes and I'd sell 4 of them when the price 3x and I'd hold one, you know,
Yeah,
and then I'd buy
that makes
back
sense.
and trade or whatever. So the dynamics of trading were a little bit slower and
Yep.
less gambly. Like, they were
Yeah,
still
sure.
gambly, but they weren't. There was only a few times during NFT season where I'd mint something and I'd wake up to 100 grand or 50 grand. There's
Right.
probably been 15, 20 times this bull run where I put a couple $1,000 into a coin and made 100 grand in a night or in a couple nights.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's just a
wild.
different, highly rewarding ecosystem to the gambling nature of how this
Yep.
moves, which is why I think a lot, like, people say NFTs are dead, but the reality is, like, they aren't dead. They just have a lower ROI than my meme coins do. So I'm not buying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially
And
when
once
you got
people
those,
start
like
to
you said.
see, once people start to see the ROI come back on flipping NFTs and like, once one NFT project gets a lot of notability and goes from 1 SOL to 50 SOL floor price in a week or a couple days, and it catches all of crypto Twitter's attention, like, you don't know, it could shift liquidity quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I hope
100%.
that comes back. That was the most fun time for me.
Yeah, no, that's what I was actually just going to ask you. So having played both of these games, which one is there one that you prefer over the other one, or are they too different to just compare them that way?
Oh, I don't know if I prefer. I like NFT. I think you know what I'll say? I think I prefer NFTs a little bit better. I love the nature of the game I'm playing right now. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But because of what we just spoke about, like the lack of loyalty to a coin, no one has loyalty to a coin. And if you say you have loyalty to a coin, maybe you do. Like, you're probably just getting dumped on for the most part, besides like the
Eventually.
unique instances. Besides the unique instances where there's a big runner and you catch it. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of people have conviction for a few weeks, but like there aren't that many people that are holding one coin the day it comes out and looking at it and not looking at it for 9 months and coming back, or 12 months. There really isn't, like, that's what I'm trying to get at. There were those people with NFTs.
Yep.
And
They got hopes and
the
dreams
level
of
of loyalty was actually, for me, an observable metric, which is why I was so early on Bored Apes and Mutants and Gods.
okay. Yep.
Because, and Solana monkey business and all Solana, dude, I was probably one of the first 50 people to buy a Solana NFT. Like, I was
Nice.
very early. And the reason was because loyalty was actually an observable metric. And you
Yep.
could watch loyalty of a community form before the price action started. Gods, bro, I sat there for fucking months buying them between 3 SOL and 7 SOL. I had 55 of them and I would tweet them and people would laugh at me and they'd say, what the fuck is this retarded shit? And then Frank turned them into dead gods and they floor went to 1,000 SOL.
Yeah.
And so
So you just
like,
felt it, right?
So
Like you're
it's
observing.
partially
Yeah.
like actual metrics of observation. Like I could
Yeah.
see that like I had been in Bored Apes, and so I could see that D-God's community was forming similarly. And what I mean by that is it wasn't just a bunch of dumbasses in a group chat talking. It was actually like there was some of that, but there was also like a decent amount of coherent people that started to look at the D-God image and say, I could make a coffee brand out of this. I could
Yep.
make a podcast brand out of this. I could do this with the IP. And once you start to see that mind share form, and that was, dude, that was before the floor price was above 10 Sol. You can observe that. And I was. And that's why I would bet on those things. And so for me,
Yeah.
I like that game a little bit more because of that aspect. With these coins, it's really honestly for me, mostly like, how do I get in? How do I get out? And how do I get to it with the most profit without completely fucking the chart?
Yeah.
And or whatever it might be. It's fun, but it doesn't have the same. It also doesn't feel as connected in the community in the industry anymore. It's more just like everybody's shilling each other
See
coins
that.
to dump on each other, and
Yeah. That
that's
definitely
kind of
feels
why
that
I
way.
chose. That's why I chose the path. Like obviously, besides Vector, like I don't really tweet about coins. Like I don't use
Yeah, work in the shadows, right?
the.
Yeah, I can see
It's a
that.
different game.
Yeah.
Makes you
All
wonder if
right.
you're really good at it or not. But anyways, we can jam it.
So I know, like we told you, we weren't going to take up too much time. We're at an hour here. One last question, at the risk of opening up a can of worms at the very last minute here, but I'm just curious to your take on it. Is there's a lot of people, and I've been hearing this a lot lately about pump.fun being bad for the industry and meme coins being bad for the industry. Like, obviously, you're having fun with it, you're having success with it. So you look at it positively from that regard. But what's your take on that when you hear people say pump.fun's ruining the industry, or meme coins are ruining the industry, or this is all extractive bullshit? Like, how do you, from an industry standpoint, how do you look at that?
I think it's a very, how do I say this nice? I think it's like an ignorant argument. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is it's like whenever I hear people say that, it's never really anybody that's been around for 5, 6, 7 years. Like it's mostly people who just only experienced maybe NFTs and even now are complaining because it's a new game. Like this is how crypto's always worked. Like this is my third cycle or something like that. I've been 7 years in this shit. Meme coins always exist. That's what I started trading when I came in. They were meme coins, and then there were like fake utility coins where people would make up like this is the utility of this coin and this is how we're doing it.
Yep.
It's always existed like that. Like I think people forget like 2017, 2018, there was a coin called Dentacoin that literally the entire premise was this coin will be used in all dentist office
I
across the
heard about
world.
that one. I wasn't here then, but I heard
Oh,
about it.
I was there for it. I was watching
That's
it all
hilarious.
happen. It ran like
Yeah.
crazy. You got to realize like this whole industry has been built off of speculation, off of like the ability to make money very quickly and change your life
Yeah.
very quickly, or the opposite.
Yeah, fair.
And meme coins have always existed on ETH. There's plenty of meme coins that last bull run while NFTs were going on that went crazy too. We had a whole 8-week period of of Doji launch coin going crazy on ETH like in 2021. I think it's like a little bit of ignorance, like not knowing like the history of what actually happens in crypto. And B, I think like the ignorance is also due to lack of experience because I've been in all those coins. Like I played a lot of the fucking coins before Pump Fun even came out, and like on Solana and on ETH. And what people forget to realize is if there's a real launch for a real coin and it was going to go through, let's say, a Meteora or a Radium pool, and like they're going to fund the LP, the chance of you finding the right one and B getting it under 100 or even 500K market cap, you have to have a sniper bot, you have to have inside info, you have to have all this shit. The reality is like it's not perfect. There are people we talked about this whole interview that manipulate the game and do it in different ways. But I will say this is the most fair form token launch and like playing the game that I've ever seen. I don't know. I don't understand why people complain about it because it's like, bro, like you can get a coin that will run to 200 or fucking, let's just say run even to $2 million market cap. You right now on Pump Fun for 15K or 20K.
Yeah, and you couldn't do that before.
You couldn't do,
Very
they would
unlikely.
launch
Yeah.
at 2 million. They'd run to
Yeah.
10 or 20. You'd be buying them at 30 or 50 and they'd be back at 5 by the time you look at it again.
Right. Yeah.
So like it's not perfect. The playing field is never going to be even. It's never going to be perfectly fair. It's just part of life. The reality is there will always be people that get inside info. There will always be those influencers that are tweeting it at the top and dumping on you. It's just, you just have to accept it and block out the fucking bullshit of those losers and figure out like your strategy and how your game works. And once you get through all that, like the game becomes much more dynamic. But
Yeah,
I see a lot of people just, it's what it is, honestly, bro, is it's just like an over rampant victim mentality. Like,
yeah,
just don't like, they,
100%.
yeah, it's like you just have, they haven't taken ownership for the fact that they're probably angry because they lost money and they're
Yep.
like, they have no idea where
'Cause-
to blame it. And so instead of taking personal responsibility for the, and saying, yeah, you know what, I own it, I fucked up, I over gambled or whatever it was, like they do the opposite and they blame pump.fun and they like, I saw a couple stupid ass like lawsuits and shit. Bro, what are you gonna do? Sue a coin? Come on, dude. Like,
Come on. I
you went
bought
to,
fart coin. I bought
would you,
shit coin. And I
yeah,
bought
would you go?
toilet coin.
Yeah, they're like dox the dev and we're gonna find you. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Would you go do that? Would you find some like? I'm rambling. What I'm trying to say is like, would you go hunt down the blackjack dealer after you sat at the table
Right.
for 4 hours and lost $1,000? You know, would you go find the
Exactly.
casino owner and try to fucking get your money back and cry about it?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So
I think that's a good take, honestly. I totally understand people getting upset, especially when if they were involved in something that turned out to be particularly shady, like a Libra coin or something like that, and they're upset about it. I could see them being upset about it,
that is,
but
yeah,
you got to take
that's,
personal responsibility for your actions. And for me, like when I've got cooked on things before, I'm just like, all right, I'm just not going to do that again. I didn't
yeah.
yell
And
and
I think
scream.
it's
Somebody
like,
needs to make me whole.
totally. And I want to clarify, it's not even about fucking not being upset. Like you can be fucking upset, but you just have to own it. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of times where I do stupid fucking shit and
Then you
fucking,
learned from it and built a
yeah,
program and
and
wrote
I'm
it in a guide.
super angry, but I'm not sitting, yeah, but I'm not sitting there on fucking Twitter being, or in my Telegram group being like, dude, you said this coin was gonna go good. And like I accept responsibility. I'm not happy about it, but I accept it and we move on. We fucking roll.
That goes into learning, man. That's like agency over crying, I guess, at the end of the day.
Right.
What can you learn from it? What can you do better in the future? I mean, meme coin's not my game. I play every once in a while, but I don't enjoy it that much. I could totally see the way you're playing it being fun though. Like the mechanics of the PvP and the PvD and all that you were talking about. I could totally see how you enjoy that. And hey, man, you're having success with it. If you're having fun,
Sometimes
you're having success. That's
depends
it,
upon the
man.
week. But
And you're trying to help people. At the end of the day, those are all good
Thanks,
things
brother.
to be doing in the world, I think. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. I learned a ton today. So I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to check out the guide. I'll share it with everybody. That link again for the guide. What was that? It was function.group/guide, right? Yep. And I'll
Yep.
put that link in the comments hanging off of this thing. And then when we clean up and post on YouTube, I'll put it on there as well. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to share on your way out?
Man, not really. Just appreciate you guys having me on and super fun to jam and share some more of my thought process and how all this works. And
Yeah, man. That was a great
Grateful.
conversation. You've shared it. Like I said, I learned a ton, so I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that hung out with us for the past hour. And next coming up on Thursday, we've got Sugartown, project that's going to be launching soon on Abstract. Next week, we will have Nix.eth returning. He's Abstract first and a bunch of other projects. Really cool builder in the space. And we're going to have Final Bosu back on after their 5-day mint reveal extravaganza. So we got a lot of good stuff coming. Subscribe or not subscribe. You can subscribe on YouTube, but catch us live here on X. So make sure you're following us here. And yeah, we'll keep bringing you good stuff. But once again, Function, really appreciate it, man. Keep hitting it out there. I hope you have some big wins today and I'll see you around.
thanks, brother. Talk soon.
All right, man.